Good afternoon. I'm Tracye Hutchins with Atlanta News First Plus. Hope you're having a great Friday and you're ready for the weekend. Wanted to give you an idea of the top 5 stories that we're looking at right now here on Atlanta News First Plus. First up is this one, certainly concerning to the family of a 13-year-old right now. Want to show you this story. Police right now still looking for several suspects in the murder of 13-year-old Deshawn Dubose. So these are the images that police have sent us for the young people that they are looking for right now. So just wanted to show you these images, so take a good look at them. Right now, Atlanta police sending us these pictures, certainly hoping you can help them identify the people you see right there on the screen. Homicide detectives, they continue to investigate this murder of 13-year-old Deshawn Dubose. You may recall back on January 22nd on MLK Drive, Cascade Skating Rink, certainly a very popular skating rink and one that many families feel is a safe place for their kids to go most of the time. This is in the Adamsville neighborhood. Dubose was shot there right outside during a confrontation. There's viral video of a fight that happened outside the skating rink, and that's when the 13-year-old was shot and killed. So his family pleading for help in this investigation. Atlanta police also pleading for help too. If you know anything about these young men you see there on your screen, there are 5 young men. These images, they were all at the skating rink at the time. Atlanta police want to speak to them about what happened. All right, we have other stories that we're covering for you at this hour. This one kind of a repeat over the last week or so. Certainly alarming for parents, any parent who has their child in daycare right now. This one, it just really makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. This woman we've told you about, Marie Lipsky, 63 years old. This is her mugshot. She ran a daycare out of her home on Mill Creek Lane in Hiram. This is out of Paulding County. So last month, someone came forward with video alleging that Lipsky was hitting children in the head and the face. These children were in her care inside her Hiram home. Authorities arrested her. They confiscated 7 days worth of video surveillance from her system, and they say that actually revealed more child abuse. So she was actually out on bond the first time. Then they came back and arrested her again because they found more evidence of abuse against more children. This time, she's being held on 17 counts of first-degree cruelty to children. Earlier, Atlanta News First spoke to a mother who had her child in that daycare. She was certainly concerned about the safety of her child, pulled her child out. Again, you're looking at a mugshot of 63-year-old Marie Lipsky. She ran that daycare in Paulding County out of her home in Hiram. All right, another story. Certainly you've seen it in the news, the earthquake in Syria and Turkey. At this hour, some 22,000 people have lost their lives. The death toll now up over 22,000 and certainly expected to grow. It is just heartbreaking to see what has happened in those 2 countries. But here at home, we actually are working on helping them out. In Metro Atlanta, a number of people have come forward really bringing in their donations to help those earthquake victims. So people are dropping off winter clothes, diapers, baby formula, blankets, other items to be sent to Syria and Turkey. Right now it's very, very cold there, and a lot of rescuers are worried about anyone who may still be in that rubble suffering from the cold there. And actually even today, some 5 days after the earthquake, they have been able to pull out survivors, which is really unbelievable. But for all those people who've just lost everything, organizations here in Metro Atlanta, they've sent out more than 300 boxes to the area, already working to send out more on a Turkish Airlines flight, making sure they can get all the supplies they need. The group right now asking for monetary donations until they can learn more about flights going to Turkey and Syria from Atlanta. Certainly those flights right now are limited, and they can only carry a certain amount. But right now, some 300 boxes sent to that region. You can see a number of those donations there just really piling up. So many people trying to do whatever they can to help those victims there in Syria. Of course, we will have more on this story coming up on Atlanta News First. Another story I wanted to talk to you about, this one I think is pretty interesting here. Let me show you what's going on. That is actually fighters, airline pilot fighters, flying over the Super Bowl, the State Farm arena there in Glendale, Arizona. The cool thing about this is the first time there's been an all-female crew, an all-female flyover crew. So history is being made right now out in Arizona. So the pregame flyover, you've probably seen that before, when someone comes out and sings the national anthem, and then you have all those fighter jets just kind of fly overhead right there on cue. It certainly gives you chills when you see it and hear it. This time around, the four fighter flyover pilots, they are all female, celebrating 50 years of female pilots. That's kind of the commemoration of this event for the Super Bowl, and they really couldn't do it on any better platform than a world stage like the Super Bowl. And here's something to think about too. Today, women make up about 15% of Navy pilots. So that is certainly a monumental accomplishment for those female pilots. You're looking at some archive video there of a lot of those fighter pilots, what it took for them in the very early days. Certainly in an all-boys club there, they had to fight through a lot, not only on the ground, but certainly in the air as well. All right, question for you right now. $5.15. Think about that. Just think about how much you can get with that. Maybe a cup of coffee, maybe a donut, maybe not. It's not a whole lot of money, but we're talking about the minimum wage right now. And there is an effort right now to increase the minimum wage here in Georgia to go from $5.15, that's what folks are making per hour, minimum wage, to $15 an hour here in Georgia. That is a huge leap, but many are hoping that would really kind of bridge the gap for so many who are working minimum wage jobs so they can afford to feed their families, afford to have a place to live. As many of you know, here in Atlanta and Metro Atlanta area in Georgia, we have been one of the more affordable places to live until recently, certainly. So $5.15 an hour does not get you much. And of course, there are food service workers, all those industries there for so many people who just need more to be able to live by. As we know, rents have gone up exponentially here across Metro Atlanta, and mortgages as well. So many people struggling just to be able to buy a home for the first time. So we spoke to a number of people who are working in minimum wage jobs saying, yeah, this will really help me. And also I'm speaking to business owners too who say, you know what, for us, unfortunately, that's going to hurt the bottom line. They pay their workers more. That means they have less to work with. So they would be struggling in order to keep their businesses afloat. And of course, with inflation, we know the cost of everything has gone up. So, you know, double-edged sword there. Business owners trying to make sure they can attract the most experienced employees, but that's hard to do when they're only paying minimum wage. And of course, the employers there just trying to make sure they can stay afloat in a competitive place like we have here in Metro Atlanta. All right, so that is a look at some of the top stories this hour. And of course, we do have our newscast coming up in at 3 o'clock, and we will have more news stories for you there. But we do have another update for you coming up at 2 o'clock. I'm Tracye Hutchins with Atlanta News First Plus. Make sure you join us at 2 o'clock. In the meantime, go out there and actually, yeah, don't go outside and enjoy the day too much. Probably for you, just like for me, I know a lot of people around here developing some allergies. That spring, it feels like springtime kind of kicking in right now. So go out there, stay safe, and we're going to see you coming up at 2 o'clock. We'll see you then.